State Patrol is reminding people who drive large trucks to be safe with a campaign they're calling Trooper in a Truck. Several state troopers are riding around Brown County in this bus right here today, watching for commercial drivers who break the law. If they see a violation, they radio to state troopers in cars behind them to pull those people over. The troopers then cite them or give them a warning. They say commercial vehicles are often larger trucks with higher cabs, and in the bus, it's easier to see what those drivers are doing.
Reckless driving, speeding, distracted driving, texting, following too close is another. So it gives us a unique vantage point so we can educate those that are driving around commercial motor vehicles.
The Wisconsin State Patrol says last year, 73 people died in crashes involving large trucks.